Okay, so you know how we always see those celebrity divorce headlines
Yeah.
flashing by?
Yeah. Another day, another split almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the final details just landed for Laura Prepon and Ben Foster. Their settlement was actually finalized back in April 2025.
Right. Us Weekly got hold of the court documents, apparently.
They did. And that's where we're jumping off from today.
Hmm.
Forget the usual he said, she said drama for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We're really digging into the substance here, the financials, how they actually untangled their lives money-wise.
Yeah. The numbers, monthly incomes, who gets what assets, the sort of practical side of ending a marriage like this.
Totally.
Right.
What does it really look like on paper when two people with established careers go their separate ways financially?
It's actually surprisingly insightful, isn't it? Because the personal stuff, the reasons why, that stays private, mostly.
Right.
But these financial docs, they give you a really concrete sort of snapshot of where things stand for them economically right now.
A very real-world glimpse behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's like quantifying the end of the relationship in dollars and cents. Kind of fascinating.
Okay, so let's get right into those numbers then. According to the filings Us Weekly saw, Ben Foster's gross monthly income, it's listed at $70,509.92.
Wow. Okay. 70,000.
Yeah. And Laura Prepon's is down as $22,205.50 per month. Gross. Again.
Right. Gross.
Yeah.
So before taxes, before deductions, all that.
Still, that's a pretty big difference between the two.
It really is. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, about maybe what they're focusing on career-wise at the moment?
Yeah, like are his projects just paying more right now, or maybe she's doing something else, different priorities?
Could be. Or maybe choices about flexibility, you know? It happens in lots of partnerships, even successful ones.
Yeah.
Incomes aren't always static or equal year to year.
Sure, makes sense. And that income difference, well, it probably feeds into the next piece, right? Child support.
Yes, that one plays a role.
The documents say Ben Foster will pay Laura Prepon $5,500 a month. And that's for their two kids. They've got a daughter, Ella, she's 7 now, and a son who was born in 2020. His name's not public.
Right. And child support, it's usually calculated based on both incomes, partly, and also how much time the kids spend with each parent.
Okay. Which brings us to custody.
Yeah, they got specific on that. So Prepon has the kids, like primary residence, for 227 days a year.
Okay.
And Foster has them for 138 days.
So a bit more than a third of the year for him.
But interestingly, the agreement also says they'll, share custody throughout the week.
Huh. So even though she's primary residence on paper, maybe day-to-day it feels more evenly split.
Could be aiming for that, yeah. A really active co-parenting thing.
And besides the monthly support, they also agreed to split tuition costs.
Tuition and other school-related expenses. Shared responsibility there.
Seems pretty standard, focused on the kids' needs.
Absolutely. Prioritizing the kids financially. Now, something really crucial in these kinds of divorces.
The prenup.
Exactly. The prenuptial agreement. The documents confirm they had one, and they upheld it.
Okay, so they stuck to the plan they made before getting married.
Pretty much. And for anyone listening, a prenup is just that legal contract you make before marriage, saying how things get divided if you split up later.
And upholding it probably made sorting out the finances much smoother.
You'd think so, yeah. It likely streamlined a lot of this settlement.
Which is interesting because Us Weekly did mention things got, quote, messy for a bit, with allegations flying.
Ah, right, I saw that. Prepon apparently accused Foster of a drinking problem.
Yeah, and Foster claimed inappropriate marital conduct from her.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds messy.
But, and this is important, the report also clearly said both of them denied the other's claims in the official court papers.
Crucial distinction. Allegations can pop up when emotions are high, you know? But they remain just that, allegations, unless proven in court.
And the fact the prenup held suggests they managed to stick to that agreement for the core assets, despite whatever personal stuff was going on.
Seems likely. It provides a framework.
So let's talk about those assets. The big one is the house, right? Their place in Nashville.
Yeah, reportedly listed for $4 million at one point. They agreed to sell it.
And the split of the money from that sale is kind of specific.
Oh, how so?
Well, first, Laura Prepon gets $977,987 straight off the top for the net proceeds.
Wow. Okay. Almost $1 million just for her first.
Yeah. And then whatever's left after that is split 50-50.
Huh. That initial chunk for her makes you wonder. Maybe she put in more up front. Down payment, maybe? Or paid for big renovations?
Could be. something to account for that specific figure.
Yeah, that kind of thing can happen, recognizing different initial contributions. But the 50-50 split of the rest, that feels more like dividing typical marital property.
Okay, what about smaller stuff, like cars?
Yeah, that seemed pretty simple. Basically, whoever's name is on the title keeps the car.
So Foster keeps his 2021 Dodge Ram and an older Chevy Silverado.
Mm-hmm. And Prepon keeps her 2023 Land Rover Discovery Sport.
Straightforward enough.
Very common way to handle vehicles. And the same idea applies to their own personal bank accounts.
Right. Checking savings, investments, stocks, even crypto, if they have any. If it's just in his name, it's his. If it's just in her name, it's hers.
Exactly. Again, something a prenup often spells out clearly how individually held assets are treated, protects what you came in with or earned separately.
And that protection extends to their businesses, too, it seems.
Yeah.
Ben Foster keeps 100% of his company, Perfect Banana Fish, Inc.
Okay.
And Laura Prepon keeps 100% of hers, Laura P. Enterprises, Inc.
Makes sense. Keeping their professional lives separate, financially speaking. Protecting those individual business interests is often a big part of a prenup.
Right. But they did have a joint company.
They did, yeah. Infinity Rose, LLC.
Okay, so what happens to that?
The plan is just to dissolve it, shut it down, but only after the Nashville house is sold.
Ah, so maybe it was tied to the house somehow.
Oh.
Or just a joint venture they don't need anymore.
Could be either. Joint companies often exist for shared assets or projects during the marriage. Once that's gone, the company might not have a purpose.
Got it. Okay, now, a really big question that always comes up. Alimony. Spousal support.
Yes.
Right.
What's the deal there?
Well, the documents apparently say they both explicitly agreed not to pay any alimony.
Oh, wow. A mutual waiver.
Yeah, they both waived any right to ask for it now or in the future. Seems pretty final.
It really does. That often suggests, that both feel they're financially independent enough to support themselves going forward.
Or it was maybe locked down in the prenup from the start.
Very possibly. Agreeing beforehand to maintain financial autonomy, even if the marriage ends.
Just as a little bit of context before we wrap up. The article mentioned they actually knew each other for ages.
Oh, really?
Yeah, met as teenagers, apparently. Through Danny Masterson, who was a mutual friend.
Huh. So even though they married later, there's a long history there. Way back.
Adds another layer, doesn't it?
Definitely puts their connection in a longer time frame.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the key financial points we've hit.
Sounds good.
Big income difference reported, right? Foster over $70 comp monthly, Prepon over $22K, which likely impacts the child support $5,500 a month from him to her.
Right. And they have that detailed custody split, 227 days versus 138, but sharing during the week, plus splitting school costs.
Yep. And the prenup was key. They upheld it.
Which seemed to guide how they divided the Nashville house, that specific payout to her first, then 50-50.
And the cars, personal accounts, and their separate businesses all stayed separate.
Exactly. While the joint company, Infinity Rose, is being dissolved.
And crucially, no alimony. Both waived it.
Yeah, that mutual waiver is pretty significant. It paints a picture of, financial separation, plain and simple.
It really does. It's like the legal system taking this whole complex personal thing and boiling it down to numbers and assets.
That's a good way to put it. A concrete, if maybe incomplete, picture.
So it does make you think, what do these specific financial choices tell us, if anything, about the marriage itself or where their careers are headed now?
Right. We don't know the personal why, obviously. That stays private.
But the money side, the disclosures, they offer this tangible, maybe limited, but still real, view into this chapter ending.
It's a fascinating look at the intersection of celebrity, finance, and the legalities of divorce. What other questions does this raise for you thinking about these settlements more broadly?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on this developing story.